Greetings and welcome to Maple Leaf America. I'm Rob Simpson. This week we're in the capital city of a state whose border with Canada runs a whopping 86 kilometers. Where are we? We'll tell you in a couple minutes. We'll also meet a two-time Stanley Cup champion, former Maple Leaf, who resides in this fair community, and we'll tell you why this town is hockey crazed. Stay with us, it's all ahead. Maple Leaf America is next. Welcome back to Maple Leaf America. We're in Boise, Idaho, the home of the Idaho Steelheads in the West Coast Hockey League. Well, there's not many folks from Ontario transplanted here. In fact, there's not that many hockey players. But there is a two-time Stanley Cup champion turned successful businessman. And his name is Johnny MacMillan. Johnny MacMillan always seemed to be in the right place at the right time.
That's me right there.
Called up to the Maple Leafs during the 1961-62 season, he was just in time to win a Stanley Cup.
I wasn't surprised, or I think the thing that most impressed me was the camaraderie of the group and the job that Millemuck did, the coach, to make that all happen.
How about a second cup following his sophomore season?
This is 2 rings in one. In the first year we won it, why, this is the size of the ring, and then the next year, why, when we came back in the fall, why they took the rings back and they enlarged the diamond and put the other year on. Whereas now, everybody gets a new ring every year.
He's not a legend by any stretch of the imagination, but McMillan did earn the status hockey pioneer. He was just the second player to make it to the NHL from the U.S. college ranks, behind Billy Hay in Chicago.
Well, Connie Smythe, why, he had made the statement that, no collegiate kid was ever going to be on his team. But Connie had died, sometime before I showed up. And Stafford was around then, so.
While at university, the speedy winger helped win 2 NCAA championships, and his time as a Denver Pioneer afforded other rare opportunities, like the chance in 1960 to play against and twice tie the Russian national team. McMillan basically earned a call-up to the Leafs as a 10th forward because of injuries to regulars. He made the most of it. Obscure to most outside of Ontario, he was recognized as one of many heroes in cup-crazed Toronto in the early 1960s.
That was the first time, of course, Toronto had the Cup in a long time, and they had the parade, and they had all these convertibles, and each person sat in a convertible by themselves. And there were more people at that parade than there were when the Queen came to visit Canada. That was pretty awesome.
Awesome for his family as well, especially his brothers, who pilfered what pieces of fame they could.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to fess up to anything on that.
Do you have more? Are you not going to fess up?
I have still some of his old stuff down in my basement. It's just sitting there. It's really weird.
I had pictures sitting beside the cup, and I don't know whether my brothers have absconded with them or what, but I can't find them. We've looked for them. I
recollect that I was going to school back in Ottawa while John was playing for Toronto, and I'd gone out to training camp with him in Peterborough. And the technical school that I was at found out after about 6 weeks into that school that my brother played for the Leafs. Oh, it was just lovely. My stature changed.
Johnny Mack made it all right, on the ice and in business. In 1980, he followed his older brother to Boise, where together they jumped into the burgeoning computer business. Today, Intermountain Technology Group has blossomed into a complex of sales, training, and technical support.
I know we're the largest compact reseller in the state of Idaho. I believe we're the largest HP. So they've grown it into quite a business. It's made the Idaho Private 75, I think is what it's called, the top private 75 businesses in Idaho the last 4 years.
McMillan fondly remembers and favors his years in Toronto, although his career ended in Detroit. Sold to the Wings in 1963 for $40,000, he was just in time for an unbelievable first assignment.
Went over there, and was immediately put on line with Del Vecchio and Howe. And Gordy had been in a slump. And I think, I can't remember, I think there's an article, isn't there, here someplace, but I don't know where it is, but it's like Gordy hadn't scored in a lot of games, and that night he had like 2 goals, and I had needed 2 assists, and I don't think I had a goal, or maybe I had 3 assists, he and Del Vecchio. You know, it's not like, wow, I'm playing with Gordy. It's like you go out with Gordy and Alex, you know. Sid Abel just said, you go, and you don't think a lot about that.
All told, Johnny Mack played parts of 5 seasons in the show, 104 regular season games, 12 playoff games with 1 playoff point.
And we were playing Toronto in the playoffs, and I was playing with Pitt Martin, and a kid by the name of Jeffries. And I went in the corner and got the puck and passed it in front, and Martin scored.
The little guy who could skate like the wind avoided trouble in the rough and tumble original 6. Once, McMillan was actually in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Bert Olmsted was on the ice, and he got in a fight with Stan Mikita. And Mikita was getting the better of Bert. And we had Tim Horton. Tim went over the boards. Well, that, just like that, everybody has to go over the boards. You just don't sit there and say, not me. So away you go. Now there's this melee of people pushing and shoving, and so you get in the middle, and I got a hold of somebody's wrists. And I couldn't get my hands to close on those wrists. And the first thing that goes through my head is like, I am really in the wrong place. I really am. I looked up and it was Eric Nestorenko.
40 years later, Johnny Mack is still playing at his fighting or non-fighting weight.
I could probably wear this to work. So I'm about the same size I was.
John Stuart McMillan, the poster boy for timing is everything.
From the state's most decorated hockey player to the center of Boise's hockey universe, the Bank of America Center. In fact, it might be the WCHL's center of the universe. The league office is right down the street, and this is the marquee Northern Division franchise. Let's take a look at Idaho and the West Coast Hockey League.
Boise in the Treasure Valley area is home to about 300,000 residents. It's located at 44 degrees north, about 550 miles from Idaho's border with Canada. From 1986 to 1997, Boise didn't even have a rink. Now it has this.
Got it to the point. Stadjahar rips a shot. Glove save. Sundstrom. Right wing corner. Pigaleets and tries to clear. Knocked down. Captain Delarme in front for Caleb. Backhander. He scores! Ties the hockey game.
A packed house of 5,000 plus. Almost every game for Steelheads games in the heart of downtown.
Right back Anderson to Scott Burt. Scott Burt, right circle, a shot, he scores!
I've never played in an atmosphere where consistently, night after night, all season long, no matter who you were playing, big rival or not, it was a sellout crowd. There wasn't an empty seat in the house, and the fans were going crazy. I think Boise's one of the best places to live, just because you really do get 4 seasons, but you can also squeeze in a good 8 months of golf if you're a real diehard.
The Bank of America Center is the centerpiece of Boise's sporting life, and Boise is the centerpiece of the WCHL, which moved its offices here 4 years ago.
The attendance figures have been great for the first couple weeks of the season. San Diego, again, drew over 10,000 fans for their opener for about the 4th year in a row. The Idaho franchise here, again, drawing record crowds. So we're very excited about where we're going.
It's good. You know, it's all the players at the jobs this year. You know, the leagues are getting better, and I came from the Western Pro last year, and there's a lot of older guys here, so it makes it you know, more experience. It's good hockey this year. It's a better league, and obviously the salary cap's higher. So that's you know, for the vets, that's a big thing, especially with the other league. You know, they dropped their salary cap, so that was probably the biggest attention grabber for me.
Some guys were hesitant about coming out to the West in the last, I'd say, about 3 or 4 years, but the league's really been picking up and guys have been coming out here because the travel's so good, and we really get to play in some great cities, San Diego, Long Beach, you know. Travel's great. You know, you get to fly everywhere, that's a plus. You don't have bus legs, kind of takes that away. Wife likes it when you're back, you know, the next morning after a game. It's pretty good.
By the way, the league's second in command, Vice President Adam Keller, also played minor pro hockey and grew up loving the Leafs.
Growing up in Saskatchewan, the Toronto Maple Leafs were the team that everyone followed from the prairies, as Saskatchewan is often referred to. And they became our favorite team, and they were always featured on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday nights. And so we got to listen to them on the radio, and then in later years got to see them on television. And it was our team.
Keller helps oversee a league which favors franchise strength over growth. After the Phoenix Mustangs went dark this year, the WCHL features only 8 teams.
Where you need to have all your members as solid as they can be, so we're going to stick with our 8 strong teams and then look to expand in the right situations.
Playing in near-empty barns is tough on any hockey player at any level. In its first 5 seasons, the WCHL featured increased overall attendance each and every year. One player who loves the atmosphere is the star of the Steelheads and a true hockey phenomena, Cal Ingraham. Only 5 feet 5 inches tall, he has scored 50 goals in each of the last 3 seasons. He won a national championship at the University of Maine in 1993 with line mate Paul Correa, who to this day insists Cal has the best hands he's ever seen.
I find that hard to believe with some of the guys that he's played with, but great compliment coming from that guy. You know, one of the probably top 5 or 10 players in the NHL right now, and to be lucky enough to play with him, and then for him to compliment me like that was a neat thing to hear.
In January of 1999, against San Diego, Ingraham scored a natural hat trick in 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Bouncing puck, it's still loose, he scores! Cal Ingraham! Holy smokes, he's everywhere! Janae across the line, left corner, Ingraham in front, shoots, scores! Cal Ingraham, a hat trick!
Just part of the excitement in Boise in the WCHL, one of 5 minor professional leagues in North America.
Stay with us, more Maple Leaf America coming up right after this.
Go Steelheads! Go Leafs!
Hi, my name is Kevin Ryan. I was born in Toronto in 1963. My favorite Leaf is Felix the Cat, and I'd like to say hello to my Uncle Gerard in Toronto.
Hi, my name's Deanne Bennett. I'm born and raised in Toronto, and my favorite Leaf would be Daryl Sittler. And I want to say hi to my family back at home, especially my 3 nephews, Mateo, Lucas, and Jaden. I love you. Mwah.
Welcome back to Maple Leaf America. You may notice I have no number or name on the back of my jersey, kind of a budget planning oversight, but we'll try to take care of that in the weeks ahead. Meanwhile, hopefully the video does justice for this breathtaking view of the Snake River Canyon. Lewis and Clark did their best to avoid it. Evel Knievel tried to jump it. And now this 80-mile stretch of river belongs to the birds, literally. Hawks, falcons, eagles, you name it. This is part of the World Center for Birds of Prey natural habitat. You may have heard of the Peregrine Fund, International Save the Raptors organization. It's headquartered right here in Boise. Watch this.
Poachers, power lines, and pesticides. 3 big reasons for the Peregrine Fund. Established in 1970 by falconer Tom Cade, the fund successfully saved the peregrine falcon, removed from the endangered species list in 1999.
Now that the peregrine falcon's recovered, we're moving on to conserving all diurnal raptors, birds of prey, across the world, not just from South America, Central America, all the way north to Greenland.
The fund and its headquarters, the World Center for Birds of Prey, serves to educate thousands of visitors each year on the plight of raptors around the world. 100% of donations go directly to programs to protect and restore eagle, hawk, kite, falcon, owl, and condor populations on 5 continents.
Now look back at those eyes again. See how big those eyes appear to be? Birds of prey have really large eyes for the size of their head.
Besides a chance to learn conservation, guests at the center have the opportunity to see a living cross-section of the raptor world. Remarkable species like the harpy eagle, huge claws, the enforcer of the aviary world, the glamorous bald eagle, the high-soaring superstar of birds, the ugly garbage man of big birds, the California condor. Picture that camped out in front of the net. And of course, the Pavel Bure, Theo Fleury-esque, bullet-quick hunter, the peregrine falcon.
Peregrine falcon is known as one of the fastest birds in the world. In a dive, he'll reach 150 miles an hour. And with this eyesight, the eyesight is used for the judging of the speeds and the kill angles. Similar to, I think about it as a linebacker when he makes his kill angle. You know, they talk a lot about that in athletics.
Peregrine fund staffers definitely fall into the category, it's not just a job, it's a way of life. They'll do anything, even what seems to be absurd, to help their fine feathered friends. Ironically and literally, the helping hand of a human can permanently damage a bird's instinctive development. Precautions are taken to make sure a young bird remembers he's a bird.
With young chicks, as little as they are, start feeding them, we use these puppets. And this way the food can be placed in between here and the puppet, and it's actually gone in, and you can feed the chick through the puppet.
To learn more, contact the fund at www.peregrinefund.org.
For a full decade, Boise town and environs, one of the fastest growing areas in the United States, didn't even have its own hockey rink. In 1998, they built Ice World, and now you can't even get ice time. We're back with more Maple Leaf America right after this.
Hi, my name is Rick Bourbonnais. I'm from Toronto, Canada. Played for the St. Louis Blues at NHL. My favorite Toronto Maple Leaf hockey player was Ron Ellis. And I wanted to say hi to my mom in Northern Ontario in Powassan. Hope everything is okay. Thank you very much.
Hi, Don Courtney from Ottawa and Toronto. And I just want to say hello to a longtime buddy of mine who played for the Leafs and everybody else, Mark Osborne. All the best to you. Take care. Hello, Canada. Hey.
Hi, I'm Clint Larchak, a former NHL player. Actually played in Buffalo. Worked hard against Toronto. My Toronto ties is my sister. I'd like to say hi to her in Toronto, and my brother, who's actually a scout for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So hi to everyone back in Ontario.
Welcome back to Maple Leaf America. We're in downtown Boise at the Bank of America Center. We've got the captain of the Steelheads, Jeremy Millemuck. How you doing?
Good.
London, Ontario native.
Yes, I was born there and didn't grow up there my whole life, but I was born there anyways. Our whole family was my brothers and sisters. So.
Yeah. Leafs fan?
You know what? Growing up, I was. I mean, you can't help it. Hockey night in Canada. Back when I was growing up, it was the Boris Salming and Sittler and Lanny McDonald, Mike Palmatier. So it's always a good rivalry in the streets. Street hockey games. We got the Montreal Canadian kids against the Maple Leaf kids. So it was a lot of fun growing up.
Now, last year on this team, you played with Matt Martin, who actually played for the Leafs a number of games. Very fine defenseman, obviously, but now he's trying to become an assistant coach, or he is the assistant coach. A good hockey player does not necessarily a good coach make, right?
You find that a lot. It seems to be a lot of good coaches were kind of average players, I think, because they had a lot of time on the bench watching the game develop. They knew what worked and what didn't, so they weren't out on the ice too much. But no, more serious note, it's. I think it depends on the person. It doesn't really matter what kind of player you were. If you have a good mind for the game, a knowledge of the game, and you can read and react. A lot of times your decisions have to be made split second, not on watching videotape. So Mario's doing a good job. He's great with the guys. He's a good people person. He can talk to you. He's a good middleman between the coach and the players right now. So it's been a lot of fun having him here this year.
Here's Matt Martin making the transition.
Well, Matt Martin has not been up here for very long, but when they needed him on the road because of the injuries, he looked good.
Matt Martin roamed the Maple Leafs defensive zone for 76 games during parts of 4 seasons in the mid-90s. Last year, in his pro hockey last hurrah, he helped lead the Idaho Steelheads to the 7th game of the WCHL's Taylor Cup Finals. This year, he swapped pads for sweatpants.
He's got a lot of experience with the game, you know, so he's out there helping us, giving us advice, and he's great help, great to have around the team.
Swanee, go, let's go. It's just a little different last year when you're playing with guys and you got to coach them because, you know, you go through things as a player that you don't understand what coaches are doing, and then when you're on the other side of the fence, you know, you don't understand what players are doing. But it's a good relationship, and we got a great bunch of guys, and so far we're off to a good start.
Martin's not even sure if full-time, lifetime coaching is what he wants to pursue. If so, he's leaning towards the amateur game, influenced by his former coach at the University of Maine, the late Sean Walsh, who died of cancer this past autumn.
You'd rather be on your D. Just stay on your D. You got your point. You're all set. You know?
It's a big inspiration to have, you know, someone behind the bench like that, and, you know, it's played in the show and knows his systems and his drills, and helped us a lot back there.
Obviously, there are no guarantees for success. Beyond the strategies, systems, and the politics, perseverance and personality could be the biggest keys.
Matt's got all the personal attributes, I think, to be a good coach. He's well-liked. He's got great respect from his teammates, both when he played and obviously now as a coach. And he's got a tremendous work ethic. He works out with the guys, and he's just a good example and a good teacher.
A lot of the tough guys seem like they always become coaches just because they learn the game. The skilled guys are just so naturally gifted that sometimes they don't really learn the game as much as a tough guy does because he has to learn the systems. He can't do anything wrong because he won't play.
One needs to be a tough guy mentally to climb to the top of hockey's coaching ladder. But Martin's made a difficult trip before, as a player to the NHL. A thrill in life difficult to duplicate.
You know Gretzky wants to pass it. And Martin took the pass away and made Gretzky shoot it.
I made a lot of great friendships, and I'm still friends with a couple of the guys, so it's fun to go back there and see Leafs play, and I'm happy to see they're doing so well. I'm still rooting for them, and they're a great organization. Ready for Swanee. I'm just tired. You know.
Coach Matt Martin, a second career worth watching.
Well, it's not as if we're unhappy with our present environment, but it is time to move on. We're going to head about 2,500 miles to the southeast to Dixie. Can you believe there's actually a half dozen professional hockey teams in the Carolinas? That's where we're headed. Join us next week for more Maple Leaf America.